The park at Veterans Beach will soon be getting an upgrade. A state grant will help fund a day program in Hyannis for the homeless. And we learn more about the town's revenue fund with Finance Director Mark Milne. All this on today's episode of Barnstable Today. It's Wednesday, July 16th, 2014. I'm Sarah Mannel. Chief of Police Paul McDonald says he's already seeing a positive impact in downtown Hyannis now that the NOAA shelter is open 24 hours a day. McDonald says extra funding is on the way that will allow the shelter to remain open for at least another year. The state's housing secretary will officially announce the grant tomorrow. The presentation will be made tomorrow morning at the JFK Hyannis Museum. A state grant will also fund renovations to the park at Veterans Beach in Hyannis. Growth Management Director Joanne Miller-Buntich says renovations to the park are long overdue.
So the primary site improvements will be replacing the playground equipment is there. I've spoken with the counselors. You know how we typically have a public process. The counselors feel, we're just replacing what's there. We're not changing anything at this point. So we'll just tell people about it. We're not going to engage in a public process, again, given the compressed time frame.
Right.
So we imagine construction will start, probably October, because it has to finish up quite soon. So
of course,
there can be site improvements, maybe some landscaping, certainly the safe surfacing for the playground, and with, as the budget allows, maybe replace some picnic tables, outworn picnic tables and grills that are adjacent to the playground.
Buntich says the improvements will be great for the Hyannis neighborhood. Each year, the town takes in revenue from taxes and fees. Finance Director Mark Milne talked with Barnstable This Morning host Sarah Colvin about the revenue fund and how income is estimated each year. We share that interview with you now.
So talking a little bit about the general fund revenue report, budget versus actual, and always important, Mark, to kind of compare what has been budgeted for revenue and what actually comes in. And can you kind of give me an overview of what this report tells us before we get into more specifics?
Yeah, we track every category of revenue by line item, and we monitor that on a monthly basis to make sure that things are tracking the way they should be, and explore areas where revenues may not be coming in and try to find out why, or as well as exploring areas where revenues are exceeding our estimates and try to figure out why that is happening as well. So it's an important document for us to look at on a regular basis because our whole budget is based on, of course, where our revenue trends are going. So this is a very important document that we monitor closely every month.
Sure. And how do you come up with the estimated figures? Is it obviously taking a look at years past where that revenue was? Talk to me a little bit about how you come to those estimated numbers.
Yeah, it's a number of different methods are used. We do look closely at the trends that occurred over the past few years, and then we try to also factor in certain areas what current economic data is indicating, as well as where we project perhaps where some things might go in the future. So, we try to build correlation analysis with other market indicators that may affect certain areas of revenue, and build our revenue estimates based on all those different methodologies. And so that's really our starting point of our budget process, is to look at what's happened in the previous fiscal years at the revenue and try to analyze where we think it's going to go down the road.
Sure. And so looking at this report, fiscal 14 budget versus actual, it looks like, and the good thing is, I think this is what you always want to see, where the actual revenue comes in higher than the estimated revenue. And just kind of looking under charges for services, beach stickers, for instance, was one that stuck out to me as something that came in quite significantly higher than what was estimated.
Yes, I think we're seeing a lot of, we're selling more beach stickers. We also increased the fee by $5 last year, so that contributes to some of the increase in revenue. But we've also seen an increase in our daily parking fees that are charged. So our beaches are very busy. Past couple of years now, we're seeing a trend where there seems to be more and more activity at the beaches, and so that's a good sign that even with the weather being as unpredictable as it is here on the Cape, people are using those facilities more than they have in the past, and that's we see a good growth of revenue in that category for the past 4 years now.
Absolutely, and I would say, the last couple of weekends, in the Craigville, Covels area, one of the parking lots in Craigville was full. There was a line to get into Covels. Overflow parking was being used, so definitely, without a doubt, people are going to the beach.
Yeah, we have that overflow parking now that we rent from Best Buddies down there by Craigville Beach as well, and we've opened the beaches earlier, and we close them later, so that also helps, I think, generate additional revenue. The fact that there's longer hours now and we have more spaces.
Absolutely, which is always a good thing. So, well, let's hope for a continued summer of fabulous weather that we've been having, and make sure that people are going to the beach and spending that money.
Stays hot and sticky like this, we will.
That's right. Another interesting, looking at your fees, kind of interesting to see all the fees that come in and really how much revenue is generated from that. Vital statistics up as well. Is there any indication as to why that came in more than estimated?
No, I think that's just, a lot of that comes from the town clerk's office. It's just marriage licenses, birth certificates, death certificates. It's just pretty much normal routine things, but I don't think we're seeing any significant changes in that. That category is actually pretty level for the past 4 years. We just estimated it low. We try to use some conservative revenue estimates so as we don't want to get in a position where we overestimate our revenues and then we don't hit those targets. So that is nothing unusual happening there.
Sure. Mark, and was there anything in here that came in, surprisingly less than estimated? I mean, it looks like just kind of from the uneducated eye that everything seems to be tracking either on track or above estimates. But was there anything that you saw that was of any concern?
No, we didn't have any areas that performed in a negative way at all. I think the one category where we saw a slight decrease, which wasn't alarming, was in the boat excise tax. But that tax is just antiquated, and it needs to be addressed at the state legislature. That's just one area where we're not seeing any growth for the past 20 years. It's been consistently around the same amount of money, and living where we do, you would think that would be a good source of revenue to help us deal with our waterways and our bulkheads and our boat ramps. But yet we can't generate much revenue in that category with the antiquated tax system that's in place.
Now, when you say antiquated tax, is it how the rates are set? Is it what people are being charged for a boat excise tax? Not being a boat owner myself, I'm not familiar with that process.
Yeah, it's just the maximum tax bill that we can issue on a boat is $500, and so somebody with a multi-million-dollar yacht is going to pay a $500 excise tax. So it's not it's not progressive at all. So if it was designed more along the lines similar to the way the motor vehicle excise tax is structured, we could recoup a lot more money in that area to help deal with our waterways.
Sure. Is there anybody working on that now, Mark, or is it something that?
Yeah, there's been a number of attempts by the Massachusetts Assessors Association to change the law, but it's met with a great deal of resistance at the state legislature. For what reasons? Who knows? I think there's a lot of political pressure from the boating community on legislators not to change it.
Sure,
and
so I can definitely see that. So, Mark, anything else about this report that you would like to make our viewers aware of?
Well, I would just I just want to be a caution, wave a flag of caution that we don't want to get too excited about the good revenue performance that we had this past fiscal year, because we have to be careful going forward that we don't set the bar too high for ourselves.
Well, be sure to tune into our hour-long news program, Barnstable This Morning, weekdays at 7 a.m. On tomorrow's show, we will have our Barnstable Voices segment, plus we'll chat with Town Council President Jessica Rapp-Grassetti, and we'll have all the news and information you need. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mannel.